What's going on, you corn nuggets? Welcome to Respawn Aimfire, the Kick-Ass Reverend Game Podcast from RAF Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Adam, doesn't tap his hat awkwardly, Gumbert, and today I have a couple guests with me. First up, you know him, you love him, you went to Chicago to beat his ass, Chad Michael Ennis. I don't know, man.
Whoa.
I'm going through it.
So after you bring the water to a boil for a couple of minutes, the hot dog plumps because it's cooked, especially if you got those ballpark franks. And then you have a delicious, perfectly cooked hot dog that does not include all of the nasty, charcoaly tasting burnt parts that you'd get from the grill. And then you can put your condiments on it, put it on a bun, and you can eat it.
Char marks are what make men men. We also have with us, kick him right in the shins, Alexander Kozina.
Ooh. Oh, kicked right in the shins. I went to Chicago when I was, I want to say maybe 13 or 14. It was part of a long-ass road trip with my parents, and it was a quintessential road trip in that I hated the entire time that we were on it because it was an architectural road trip. They wanted to check out the many works of Frank Lloyd Wright, and I was not
Let's
for
go.
it. But did we have some good food along the way? No, not really. So I don't know how worth the trip actually was, but hey, we had fun.
And the man who took a haymaker right to the jaw, who's actually in Chicago, Joel Campos, is also with us on the
I got to hang out with Kozi's parents because as somebody with an architecture degree, I think that I would enjoy their company quite a bit.
I'm being a little tough on Frank Lloyd Wright. I respect his works a lot. There are definitely a couple of his houses, a couple of
More
his
like Frank
edifices
Lloyd
that we
wrong.
visited.
You heard it here first. Frank Lloyd Wright is an okay architect.
All that to say, I appreciate what he does, but as a 12 to 13-year-old, that trip was boring.
As an 11-year-old, I had a Frank Lloyd Wright book looking over all his architect. I loved it. Catch us live on twitch.tv/Affable Idiots, Monday evenings at 8:30 Eastern, YouTube podcast services, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Some housekeeping stuff, not about Frank Lloyd. That's not that man's name. Your barf game for the month of February is Portal 2. You got to play Portal 2 now because it's about to be another month, so we're going to play another game. But right now, the game we're going to talk about that from our backlog is Portal 2. It's all about, what was it, Valentine's Day? Because you can play co-op.
Oh, yeah. Play it with your honey.
As well as subscribers on Patreon can now get early access to our special episode for the month of February, which was Rafter Dark, and why Kozi's dad likes Frank Lloyd Wright and dislikes movie theaters. Check that one out. It was a good time. Very good. Gonna go ahead and move on to our main quest, though. Standouts from the ID at Xbox Showcases from Adam Bankhurst at IGN.com. So instead of breaking down everything that happened, we just looked over the showcase and maybe watched a few videos here or there. We're talking about things that happened. Again, it's fun whenever we have showcases and stuff to go over because it gives us new games to talk about. Hey, we're just going to talk about highlights. So does anybody want to start with a thing from the ID that Xbox Showcase that they want to talk about?
I will.
Cool indie games is what Xbox showed off, basically, for those who don't know.
Start out by giving a shout out to Ratatan. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. Maybe it's Ratatan or Ratatan or Ratatan. But regardless, this is the successor to Patapon from the creators of Patapon that I got to say looks pretty cool. Jury's out on whether or not I'll check this one out. I got Patapon 2 Remastered when it released on the PlayStation 4 a few years back. But yeah, it's cool that this guy is still making the games that we came to know and love back during the PSP days. And a little kind of disappointing that this is not something that PlayStation has or does anymore. Looking at this footage, it's like, man, a modern day, like super HD 8K graphics version of Patapon would be truly fantastic looking. But we don't get that. But we are getting this, which looks pretty cool.
I gotta ask.
Yes.
Who here has actually played Patapon?
Oh, I have, baby.
Who heard about it before Greg Miller ever said the word Patapon?
Well, to be clear, I think I started playing Patapon way back in like the IGN podcast Beyond days because probably Greg Miller did, but I did play them on PS. I think I played them all for the first time on PS Vita as PS Classics.
Damn. That's when I played them for the first time, was on Vita.
Those games slap. I did play the new remasters though, and I had a very, very difficult time because something about I don't know what it was. but I could not get the syncing to work correctly. Like I was everything locally on a PSV or PS Vita, like it's direct immediate input, but something about the wireless connection of the DualSense or DualShock 4 at the time, I just even calibrating it in the menus just didn't feel good. So I played like 10 minutes of the remaster and said, "No, thank you."
It's the thing about Patapon is like I'm not sitting here and claiming that Patapon was ever this fantastically popular franchise, the kind of franchise that people would know of even without knowing Greg Miller. But looking at this game, it's like you can imagine a current reality in which PlayStation's like, yeah, we can invest in some of these smaller scale single A or double A projects that aren't going to cost us an arm and a leg and won't necessarily make an arm and a leg back, but that's perfectly okay because they weren't that costly to begin with. But we don't have that, but we do have this, and I appreciate that.
No, it's cool. I like that people get to keep making cool stuff. I just never, ever heard of that game before that man talked about it on a podcast.
I also just love that this creator is just like, I'm not going to make Patapon, but I'll make Ratatan. It's like Patapon Schmatapon, but with an R.
Next, I'll go up for one next. It's a game that's already been out on PC. I know people played it last year and really liked it. It sort of has Inscription vibes a little bit. And I think the announcement is really just that it's coming to Xbox Game Pass and coming to console. But Buckshot Roulette, that's a cool. If you liked the weird, creepy vibes of Inscription, maybe play this weird game about this demon man who plays roulette and you have a shotgun.
Apparently, I saw the thumbnail of this trailer and I said, no, I'm not going to be into this game. But now that you're calling it out and you've mentioned a link to Inscription, oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, no,
you're
literally just playing
this creepy man.
Russian roulette with a shotgun. And there's like tricks and trades to how you play the game correctly and shoot this man in the face. People were into it last year. I never played it, but I know a lot of people were like, yo, this game is kind of cool and has Inscription vibes. So shout out to them for getting it on console. I just want to give a little love.
This is like if you saw the rest of the body that belonged to Mac Tonight from the old McDonald's commercials. Remember that guy?
No.
Mac Tonight. He was like a moon wearing sunglasses, which is weird because the sun wasn't out when the moon would be out, but he would advertise the fact that McDonald's was available at all times of the day, including at night.
Oh, the Jay Leno knockoff guy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He looks like it looks like they found a banana and they painted it white and called it a moon.
Disgusting.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think a more apt comparison is that the guy in the trailer we saw earlier is sort of like the Majora's Mask moon. This guy looks way too debonair to be the guy we were just looking at. The Majora's Mask moon is a better comparison.
Speaking of McDonald's, Chad, did you have a fun thing that you watched in the trailers I sent you in the link?
I did, but when I clicked this IGN article link just a second ago, my fucking Video Ninja just restarted out of nowhere. So I'm scared to click it again, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, I know there was a shout out to Liza P.
Liza P was there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It had a little bit of like a story, like narrative where we're going kind of trailer, and I didn't finish the game, so I don't have any context or understand what's going on it, but I know that I will play that.
The character that's teased in the new trailer that was shown off at ID at Xbox is a character that you don't even get to see in person. Like, it's a character that is referenced via memories that you're able to inject the memories of into your brain. Things get really weird in the final few hours of Lies of P, but you don't need to be super concerned. It's not like you knowing of this character from the trailer majorly spoils stuff from the end of the game. Looks cool. I mean, it's a very not too much new footage was shown off in this new trailer. I think we need to see a little bit more. I'm excited for Lies of P Overture all the same. Bring it to me.
The one thing I did get really excited about, just because I knew Kozi was going to be so excited, and I can't wait to hear his thoughts on it, was Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault, which is coming to Game Pass on day one.
I have hope for this game. I liked Moonlighter until we got to the third area, and it's like, oh, this is just the same game over and over again. But, you know, if they have time to improve it, it's kind of 3D now. I'm going to check it out. It's on Game Pass. Because, again, I liked that game until a point. And then I got bored, but I did like that game until that point. So I'd be interested in giving it another go.
As much as I did not like the original Moonlighter, I wish the developer all the best. I hope they can make a better game than the original game. And that's all I have to say about it. Unlikely I will ever play this unless people collectively come together and are like, yo, Kozi, you have to play this game. So We will see.
Maybe we'll, instead of having a barf segment one month, we'll have a what is the equivalent of not about what if we do an ARF early access with Respawn and Friends, and we have to play we have to play a game that comes out and pay for the Game Pass 3-day early $20 version.
I mean, I'll be playing it anyways. Yeah, it's fine.
I hope not.
Joel, anything for you? If not, I'm gonna quick fire off some stuff that I thought was pretty cool.
Nothing for me.
Tap your hat one more time.
I didn't watch it, and I didn't see anything.
I didn't either. I just watched trailers afterwards. That's me. Again, shout out to Balatro. Amazing game. They had another drop of more cards added to it. Fallout, Assassin's Creed, Bugsnax, Civilization, Slay the Princess, Friday the 13th. And it also came to Game Pass today, so that's super fun. So here's the thing. I know we talked about it when we did the John Wick Hex barf review a couple months ago. They showed off some more Tron Catalyst, which is the second Bithell game set in the Tron world. And it kind of looks like apparently it's got like a time loop mechanic. Maybe it's roguelike-ish, but it kind of looks like a top-down, not Hades exactly, but a top-down action sort of game in the Tron world. And it's like, I would like these games to be good. I like Mike Bithell, the man, but I just don't, his licensed stuff, I'm like, they're always so just okay to me. I'm hoping it's good, but
we talked about this on the John Wick Hex episode that we did way back when. Like, conceptually, I really like the idea of that game. Of, in a world in which we're living currently right now, where every single licensed IP is a super duper big AAA game. It's cool that the people at Legendary Pictures were like, yeah, sure, we'll give you, Mike Bithell, an opportunity to make an indie-sized John Wick game instead of a big bloated AAA game. We need more games like that in, not just the licensed game sphere, but in the video game industry in general. But that game, the execution of that game was a little bit lacking. And I feel like this game, Tron Catalyst, definitely needs to prove that it is not another John Wick Hex.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope it's good ideas, but we'll see how I feel about it.
Does anyone have any connection to, I have this hunch that Tron is not relevant to anyone under the age of 45. Do any of you all have? I've never seen anything Tron related other than
I saw that movie.
I saw
Bridges, the second one in theaters. I like Tron. I'm not like a Tron head, but I like the movies.
Okay.
But I also, they also, the first movie came out fucking 10 years before I was born.
Yeah,
but I watched it later. And
that's cool. I tried watching that first movie before the second one came out, and I was like, how the fuck did anybody ever watch this? Because just the CG was just so bad.
But that was the second movie of all time to have CG, so I give it a little credit for that.
There you go, exactly.
It's this interesting franchise where I feel like for a long time it was sort of buoyed along by the idea that it was made very early on during the days of CGI in movies. Certainly, if they were to make a modern day Tron movie, it would be super incredible looking. And Tron, the second one, whatever it was called,
Legacy?
I forget its name. Legacy.
I think, yeah.
That movie, not the best movie of all time, but a very visually impressive movie, very stunning movie to look at in certain spots. And so I think it's a franchise I think is definitely kind of kept along by the promise of but how much better could it look now? How much better could it look now that technology has advanced so much more? But it feels like there's not necessarily a great emotional core. People aren't really coming back to that franchise for the characters, for the plot, for the what have you. It really is just, oh man, this is a movie about computers that is made that much powerful by the computation power of computers nowadays.
Yeah, and the next one has Jared Leto, so that'll be fun. I do like Legacy.
They're doing another one?
Yeah, Ares, I think. Tron Ares is what it's called.
Tron Ares with music by Nine Inch Nails.
Love it. The last one I want to talk about, Joel, Jump Ship. This is the one I'm actually hyped for. Jump Ship looks like, and I'm reading off the page now, IGN had a preview of the game as well as showing off the trailer. Our recent preview of the game, we said it was a mix of Sea of Thieves, Left 4 Dead, and FTL. And let me tell you, jumping on with 3 friends and going around the galaxy doing stupid stuff and shooting guns and getting loot sounds like a fun time to me. I like these types of game once in a while.
Yeah,
so
I do remember IGN doing a preview of this in the past, and I was pretty excited for what they were talking about. So, yeah, this definitely seems like something I would love. Did they say anything about a release date for this?
No, it's early access in the summer. That's all that I know. Yeah, early
I'm down
access
for
this
that.
summer. That's all we know so
Is
far.
it a Game Pass game?
I don't know. I'm assuming it probably will be since it's here. I'm not sure entirely. But if it is on Game Pass, I'm jumping in. That'll be a fun
For
weekend.
sure.
We'll have a great time. That's really the last highlight I have. We can move on. Not a lot of news that we want to talk about. So we're going to go. Do I want to do my segment now or later? We'll talk about playtime now. Playtime. Talk about games we played. Playtime. Chad, what's your favorite Frank Lloyd Wright architecture?
I will be honest with you. Frank Lloyd Wright is one of those people where every single time that I hear his name, I have to say, that's not the Kitty Hawk first flight in America in North Carolina guy. Like, it's not one of the Wright brothers. And then I'm like, what the fuck is Frank Lloyd Wright? Did he write a book? Like, why is he famous? Why do I know that name? It's not a politician. And then today, you all are like, architecture. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. So, I don't know.
Look at these houses. They're so cool. There's like the waterfall house. That's awesome.
I went to the one I'm showing in video right here, Taliesin West in Scottsdale, Arizona last year. About a year ago, like last week. And it was a really cool house. Really, really cool stuff.
Chad, I'm going to give you a multiple choice question. You have to tell me which of these is not a structure designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. We have Frank Lloyd Wright's Martin House, the Unity Temple, the Fallen Stairs, or the Falling Water.
Okay, first of all, you can't trick me. The Unity Temple is from The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, so Frank did not design that.
In fact, he did design the Unity Temple. He did not design
Damn,
the
Nintendo got
Falling
Frank Lloyd Wright
Stairs.
for that temple? That's wild.
Somehow.
Damn, big deal. Told you. Anyway, Chad, what have you been playing now that we're done talking about architecture?
Yeah. What have I been playing? One, I'll plug a movie. Y'all seen that monkey? Monkey
the
movie?
Stephen King one, right?
Or the Stephen King
Better
movie
Man
about the
movie?
monkey from the Long Legs guy?
Godzilla
shit, I
versus
saw that
Kong
last
and
night.
New Empire.
Oh, it was I cannot remember the last time that I laughed out loud in a theater that much watching this movie.
Is it supposed
In
to
a
be
good
a dark
way.
comedy?
It is very much a horror comedy. It was not really strongly with the comedy aspect of it, but holy shit, is that movie hysterical in like a good way. Not one of those that like, oh my god, I'm laughing at how bad this is, but like they are so fucking funny. So yeah, Monkey, good. Saw that last night.
Wow. When
Everybody
did
else go see it.
How high was the body count? How many people did Dev Patel kill in this one?
I'm not going to. No, not Monkey Man. That's where Dev
Oh.
Patel goes on a Monkey Man killing spree. This is the Monkey. Yeah, this
You
is very
scared me.
different.
I stopped sharing the screen because I was like, wait, is this not it? I thought you were yelling
Oh,
at me.
that's it.
There
Yeah.
have weirdly been a ton of monkey movies over like the past 12 months.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
King Kong.
Yeah.
The one
That's
where it's
it.
Robbie Williams is a monkey and nobody saw
Yeah.
it and it cost him $300 million to make.
Yeah. Born to be Wild remake. Dunstan Checks In remake.
Hell yeah.
Mighty Joe Young 2. Joe got younger, but still mighty.
Spy Mate. Can't
yeah,
forget
that
about
movie's
Spy
great.
Mate.
Movie's great. 100% recommend. DEM. Oh, Destiny new exotic mission. Okay, y'all. There is a new SMG. A new exotic SMG that looks like a fucking weird little circular wheel something. And it looks weird as fuck. But this exotic mission is so fucking cool. I just played it the other day, and it starts out like the actual steps to get the exotic mission is one of those like kind of whisper the worm kind of secrety things where you're like, oh, you got to go to this thing and get sucked into this blight on accident, and then figure out that this thing is telling you to step backwards, and then runes, and then you got to do a bunch of random ass Destiny fetch quest type shit, like go to the moon and complete this lost sector and get the MacGuffin off the stone template thing, and then you finally get in the mission. And it is just like so atmospheric. It has some really cool environments that I haven't really seen in a Destiny type level before. It's got some cool lore stuff behind it. The fighting, like the actual battles themselves with some of the bosses are just like it's a cool mission. Much recommend that as well. And finally, Gears of Wednesday. We played Snowrunner.
Oh,
We played
no.
Snowrunner on Thursday on Gears of Wednesday night. And
like
I
Tears of
will
Thursday.
say, if you're going to play this game
Am I
with a
right?
group of friends, go into it prepared. Do the 16-hour long intro mission before all of your friends get together and start playing and having fun, and you're sitting in a corner playing with your dick in a not fun way. Trying to get this fucking truck all the way to the bridge and you're stuck in a swamp because you chose the wrong truck. 2, I'm just not digging this one. It was probably just a bad like set of circumstances that led to me just having a poo-poo night on this game. But it's just like everyone's out there doing all this shit. And I came in late after doing this intro mission forever, and I didn't have any cars. It doesn't explain the whole, like, here's how you get your trucks and what your garage is and all that shit. And I just joined these guys, and they're like, oh, drive my cars. And then I don't have control over their cars. And I flipped one. I'm like, well, I don't have a little jack me off thing like I had in Mud Runners, and instead I have to just leave it flipped on the ground. And then 10 minutes later, Joel was like, Chad, did you flip this car? And I was like, yeah, immediately. And then I just took over another car instead. But I also, it doesn't seem, it seems much more like in a weird way, a Kozi game where it's like, oh yeah, this is all about, we're just going to get through the mud today. We're going to hook up a bunch of logs sort of thing and drive slowly through the mud. Whereas I feel like when we played, Joel, help me out. This isn't Mud Runners. What's the name of the other one?
It's Expedition Mud Runners, and this is Snowrunners.
When we played Expeditions, the previous Gears of Wednesday, I felt like that one was a little bit more straightforward. Like you choose the truck or choose the buggy or whatever it is, and then everyone gets that car. We go into an open area, and we have a couple of missions that we're all kind of working towards together. And this is just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. There are too many cars. You don't own the cars. It's someone's world. If you leave the world without, alien abducting your cars into your garage, and you don't get them ever again. But I didn't have any cars to do that with anyway. I did not go into this prepared, and they were way ahead of me.
Yeah, so basically the issue is that Chad had not done the tutorial for this game, and so when he got on to play with us, he had to do the whole tutorial, which is very long. Like, it's not short. Like there's a tutorial in Expeditions that takes maybe 15 minutes. The tutorial in Snowrunner is going to take you probably like an hour, honestly, because it's trying to teach you like what to do, where to go, where things are, but it doesn't do a very good job at it. To a point to when I first downloaded this game and started playing, this was before we were even talking about playing these games together. I messaged the group and was like, hey, I was like, Dallas, what the hell do I do? Like, I finished a tutorial and I just have all these tasks and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it's not very clear on telling me like where I need to go, what I need to do. But then when Dallas finally got on to play with me, he like taught me everything there is to know. So I think next time you get on, Chad, we should just kind of go over the basics with you. Because also, me and Matt, we only have 3 cars each. And they're all ones that the game gives you, like, at the beginning. And the reason you didn't have them is because in order to bring your cars to somebody else's game, you have to recall them all to your garage and then join somebody's game. And since you had not done that, you didn't have your own cars. But we use a lot of Dallas's stuff because he has like every car in the game unlocked because he played it so much. Expeditions is more of like a exploratory game, it's more like me and my friends just want to drive around. Whereas this is more objective based, where, we were doing a mission where we had to take, like you're seeing on screen here, logs to a certain area, but on top of the logs, you also got to take, concrete blocks or metal beams.
Oh God, concrete blocks.
And in doing so, like, if it was just me doing it, I have to take like 3 trips, right? Because 3 trips across the map, you can only carry so much stuff on one semi-trailer. But we were like divvying up the work where I was like, all right, I'm going to go get logs because I'm closer to the log thing. Matt, you go get the beams and we'll kind of meet there and drop them off, kind of deal. So that's kind of what we were doing. But yeah, Chad joined, and I swear, Chad didn't say a word for like 35 minutes. And then he's just like, all right, guys, I'm going to bed. Like, I'm going to watch, what were you going to watch? Severance.
Here's what it was. I was trying to be like, just give it a chance, do the thing. And I was like, I'm going to go after this mission. I have this car, the only car that I can find that wasn't flipped. I'm in this little car, and I need to get to this objective over here, but I can't get to that objective yet because I'm out of gas. So I have to go all the way up the map to the gas station. I spent like 20 minutes getting this car to this objective. The objective says lost bags. And I'm like, I need help getting my bags, right? You get down there. The bags are actually like 12 by 12 pallets of concrete slabs that require a crane to put on a giant truck. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm in this little baby car. And then guess where the next closest truck is? Nowhere. It doesn't exist. I can't do any. I spent 20 minutes driving to this thing in the wrong car because it didn't tell me what car I needed. And then Dallas is like, Chad, it's okay. It's okay. I'll recover this truck for you. I'll recover this truck. And I was like, all right, well, where do I pick it up? He's like, at the garage. And I look on the map, and the garage is twice the distance that I went already. That took me 20 minutes in this car, let alone it would have taken me 3 hours in whatever big truck that was. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And I just sit in the Discord channel and just play Destiny instead. And then afterwards, they're like, oh, Chad, it's actually much faster now to get there because we built a road. I was like, well, I didn't even know you could fucking build a road. How do you build a road? Why didn't you build the road for me? It was a bad night. It was a bad night.
Love it.
Yeah,
because...
and so
go ahead, Phil.
So Chad got off, and then it was silent for like 10 seconds, and Dallas just goes, yeah, he's never playing this game again.
Which is perfect because your boy, Adam, downloaded Snowrunners and Mudrunners Expedition. Played that all weekend. I'm ready to go, baby. I fucking love that shit.
So you're telling me I found Gears of Wednesday. I found this happening, this event, and I get pushed out of it for this bullshit Snowrunners game? Oh.
What's funny is I'm actually free this Wednesday for once, Chad.
Yeah, but I'm sure Dallas isn't. Whatever you're free, he just makes sure that he's not free. Unless apparently Snowrunners is on the table, and then everyone's free every night for 12 hours.
That or VR mini golf.
Yep. I don't know what it is. If we're playing Gears of War, nobody has any time at all.
About this game again, I was like, I hope that this segment ends with you announcing that you're going back to Gears of War Wednesday, for real, returning to the Gears of War franchise.
I'll be honest.
But now,
I don't think we're ever going to get these 4 guys to play Gears of War again.
Well, so here's what I want to ask. Do I have to play these games now? Because it seems like literally everyone and their mom is playing these games now.
Snowrunner?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Fuck.
Or you and Chad can play Gears of War together while I play Snowrunners and Runrunners with these guys. I don't know. We can figure it out.
That's true.
I get the kids every other weekend. You get them on Wednesdays. You know how the divorce goes.
Chad will have to honor the sanctity of Gears of Wednesday if he wants to do that. Can he do that?
My issue with Gears of War is I've already played through all the games. I know I enjoy the games. Like when I have time to play something, I want to play something new. So I don't want to go back. But obviously, if everybody else was down, I'd be playing with them because I'm ride or die. You know what I mean? So, Chad, you just got to convince the other 2 jabronis to play Gears of War, and I'm in.
Listen, this whole thing was just me and Matt are going to play Gears together. And then Dallas is like, I want to play. And then you're like, if y'all are playing, I'm playing. And then suddenly it became everyone has to line up together thing.
See what happens when you don't involve me and Kozi and stuff? Your plans get fucked.
I know.
You reap what you sow, baby. Anyways, yeah, I play Mudrunners, Snowrunners, good times. And then more Avowed. I am now on the 3rd island, or no, the 3rd area of Avowed. Having a great time with that. It's funny. So I was in a text group with, Tim, who made the podcast with Brian. He was on one of our quiz show episodes last year. Tim the Museum.
Yeah.
And I'm in a text thread with him and somebody else, and we all talked about just like a thing at the beginning of the game that doesn't seem like a big choice, and we all did it completely differently. And it's like, oh, all of our stories are 100% different now because of this one seemingly incidental, like 5, like answer option that we all did differently. It's like, oh, there's a person that I'm an ally with that they're like, there's no fucking way that you can do that. How did you figure that out? Like, that's not possible. And it's like, no, we're best buds. We're having a good time. So yeah, again, we talked about it last week, enjoying that more. I like this 3rd area a bit. Might be my favorite one so far. I like running around this desert with dual guns and taking guys out. It's a good time. But nothing new there, just more of that. And I'll continue to enjoy that. But I guess we put it in the title. I guess we should probably get to it at some point. Kozi, what are the things that you
one
did?
last thing. I platinumed Beat Saber again on PS5 now. So nice. I finally hit the 24 hours total of playtime on PS5.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's talk a little bit about a little game called Lost Records Bloom and Rage Tape 1. As you all know, last week I finally managed to complete what was it called? I'm not 2 seconds into me talking about this game, I'm not even talking about this game. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. It took me a real long time to complete this one. So this past week I decided to complete 2 games, not 1 but 2. and one of them might have 3 in its title, and another one might have 1 in its title. And the one in its title is this one because I completed tape 1 of this game that was created by Don't Nod Montreal. If you guys have played the Life is Strange games, which of course were originated by Don't Nod and later on continued by Deck 9. This game is very much in the vein of those games. It is a slice of life tale about a group of girls in the summer of 1995 who become fast friends and get up to all sorts of antics. I won't go into full details of what exactly those antics are because we get into spoiler territory very quickly. It's not incredibly spoiler of me to say that there is a supernatural element to this tale, but the supernatural element at play here is very different from the Life is Strange games. The Life is Strange games all follow different characters doing different things throughout America. And a kind of core conceit to those games is that they have some sort of supernatural power, and the games are about the interpersonal relationships they have with the various other characters and how the superpowers that they have kind of come into conflict with that. This game is not that. The supernatural power in this game serves a means towards a very different end. And through, that aside, even though it is different from the Life is Strange games in that regard, this game is very much a Don't Nod game through and through. There is a lot of cringy dialogue, and there's also a lot of great dialogue and some really great moments. There's a lot of great slice of life gameplay where you're just sort of like living in the moment, doing fun 1995 girls hanging out in a cabin in the woods style things. And then there's some really baffling and weird gameplay moments and some very unexpected plot twists that I'm not going to spoil, but if you've played the game, you know what I am talking about. Something that I really appreciated about this game is that the main character that you play as, Swan, with 2 N's at the end, has a video camera that she uses to videotape the world around her. Using the video camera to tape things is itself a lot of fun. The game applies a really cool filter when you're using it that makes the world like it really like emulates the feel of like a 1995 video camera. But then you can actually collate together all of the little bits of footage that you've taped with the video camera in game and like edit very like rudimentary movies together with that. And you also, in some cases, can even have a little narration over it. So like you'll videotape all of the birds that are in the game, and then you'll get the opportunity to like make like a little bird video, and you'll have like a custom narration from Swan talking about the birds over it. That stuff I really, really loved. It's very reminiscent of the camera in the original Life is Strange game from back in the day, but I would say much more advanced. Overall, had a lot of fun with tape 1. I am looking forward to tape 2, but I really do hope that tape 1, or rather tape 2, justifies some of the weirder, more baffling decisions that tape 1 makes. If in the end tape 2 ends up being on the same level as what I got out of tape 1 in terms of quality, in terms of the quality of its writing, I'll be perfectly happy and satisfied, more so than I would say I was happy and satisfied with True Colors, which I know we all collectively didn't totally love. But I think there is an opportunity for tape 2 to take what was set up in tape 1 and do something really special, but obviously we'll have to wait and see whether or not they come through in that regard. Last thing I'll say about this game, is, we are not starved for good looking video games this generation. We've had a lot of really pretty, real photorealistic looking products. Lost Records, and this is big, but I'm going to say it, Lost Records Bloom and Rage might legitimately be one of my favorite looking games this generation. It is not necessarily the most hyper realistic of any game that we've played, but the way that the lighting, the bloom, no pun intended, hits in a lot of moments in this game is like super duper impressive. And you combine that with like the fun like video photography filter stuff I mentioned earlier. And this game, I think, really impressed me in the visual department, which I was not expecting because these Life is Strange games, they look decent. They're stylized, but I don't think of the Life is Strange games as like looking really, really good. This game looked really, really good. And so if tape 2 alone continues to also look really, really good, I'll be satisfied with that, even if its story doesn't fully deliver.
There's a fun...
and then...
yes. Real quick on that. Obviously, I'm sure this is not an original idea. People talked about it before. And I don't know the logistics of putting the game out. But I feel every time that Don't Nod and what's the other studio?
Don't Nod and Deck Nine.
Deck
I
Nine.
actually, real quick, I had a friend on one of my secret discords that got confused, and I was like, no. It's not the developer that's made up of two words that begin with a D and an N. It's the other developer that begins with two words that begin with a D and an N.
God,
Two completely different studios.
That makes it worse. That's crazy. I understand that there was a time when we did episodic. Again, I know this is not original. We did episodic gaming and it was cool or whatever. I feel like the last 4 releases that those two studios have done, they review the part that they get and then they're like, oh, that was fine, but I don't really like this cliffhanger. I'm not going to think about this game. Or like, it leaves everyone unsatisfied. And then it's like, do you come back to the second part? And I'm like, again, I don't know the logistics. Why can't they just make it all at once? I don't know. I know it's silly to think, and I know I'm not the first person to say that, but because of the way that people are like, oh, this is fine, it's all right, it's cool. The ending is what I did. Just put it all out at once, and people would have a full idea, and then you would have a zeitgeist moment instead of trying to split it up and then splitting people's attention. Because it seems like these games aren't 10 out of 10s every time. So whose attention are you? It's just a stupid idea. But like, why do they do that? There must be a reason, but I just don't get it.
I fully agree. This game definitely benefits from the fact that Tape 2 is coming out in April. So like there's like a less than 2 months gap between the two games, but then it does kind of become like, well, why even have a gap to begin with? On the flip side, Life is Strange 2, the second season of Life is Strange games, like that game had a really long rollout. Like there were months and months separating each individual episode in that series, and Life is Strange 2 remains today my favorite of the Life is Strange games. It still remains, I prefer it to what I played in Bloom and Rage. So sometimes the wait between these episodes can really benefit these products and give the devs opportunities to really kind of polish what's there and listen to feedback. But I don't disagree. I don't think it would have hurt this too much if they put out Tape 2 a little bit sooner. Because like the thing that confuses me about Tape 2 coming out 2 months from now is it's like, what exactly do you need the extra few months for? Like, is it just polish? Because clearly you don't have enough time between now and then to be like, all right, let's listen to feedback and let's see what we can improve in Tape 2.
Yeah, no, it's just like they're doing it because it's tradition. And like, why don't you just wait till April and do all of it at once?
Right.
Because
Totally
again,
fair.
you're not, like you say, you're not changing the gameplay and polishing in that month and a half between them. It's just like, I don't know. I'm not a game developer, so I'm going to be quiet. But I'm just saying, it doesn't really make sense to me. Not in 2025.
It's also like the number of people who ever like download a DLC for a game after it comes out is like, there's a huge drop off from the main game to the DLC. And I imagine that's the same for this, even though it's only like, what is it, 2 months, 2 months apart from each other. Imagine how many people would have finished this game if Tape 2 were out today versus how many people are just now gonna, because it's not out, never experience the end of this.
They never think about it, or they're like, that was okay. I don't really care enough to continue. And then it's just like, well, no, play the second part. But again, they keep doing it. There must be a reason. I don't know.
I mean, I hope that Tape 2 does well for them. Don't Nod is one of those studios that I have a lot of respect for. Is like one of the few bona fide examples of a studio that is just putting out AA games on a consistent basis that are all good to great. You know, we need a lot more studios like that nowadays in the industry. But anyways, moving on. I also played and beat a little game by the name of Gears of War 3. Does it ring a bell to you, Chad? Does that name ring a bell? Gears of War. Ever heard of it? Ever want to play them?
I don't remember any bells in Gears of War. Were there bells? Sleigh bells?
There's
Santa?
one in your head.
Oh.
No, not Santa. I don't think Santa's involved. I don't think there's Santa on the world of Sarah. Did you know that they have 26-hour days on the world of Sarah?
Damn, sometimes I wish I had an extra couple hours in a day.
Yeah, pretty
I'd
cool.
sleep a little bit more sometimes.
I had a lot of fun completing Gears of War 3. I thought it did a good job of kind of closing out the trilogy, following up on a lot of plot points from the prior games, delivering character moments for all of its various characters that we got to know and love over 1 and 2. A lot of great set pieces. I kind of love that Gears of War 3 is a road movie for much of its duration, where you're just going from location to location, seeing different ways that people have survived in the kind of post locust / lambent apocalypse. I really kind of appreciated that aspect of the game. I'm a little bit more mixed on the just sort of sheer core gameplay of this game, though, compared to 2. I played all these games solo. I didn't play them cooperatively because Chad decided to turn Gears of Wednesday into Tears of Thursday. And in Gears of War
Let's
1
be clear,
and 2...
I didn't. It was Joel's Bocce League and Dallas's Hockey League that both dictated the schedule.
Okay. But you could have renamed Tears of Thursday to Gears of Wednesday. You could have gone through time.
When you have a brand like Gears of Wednesday, you don't
of
abandon that. You stick with it. You ride that out. That's got a built-in audience already of 4.
Anyways, Gears of War 1 and 2, when you're playing by yourself, if you die, you basically just die right on the spot, and allies don't get an opportunity to come and revive you. Gears of War 3, if you play solo, your allies will come and revive you when you die, which it had a weird effect on my time playing through this game where it made it go a lot faster because I very rarely had a game over. There were very few combat encounters that I had to kind of recomplete because I would die halfway through them. But it did also remove a lot of the tension. It would be interesting to kind of go through and see like how this would compare when I would play through the campaign co-op with someone else, like Chad Michael Innes, for example. Perhaps we could do it on a Wednesday or a Thursday and see how that fares. But yeah, overall, had fun with this game. I think I might actually still prefer Gears of War 2. I reflect back on my time with Gears of War 2, and I was a little bit tough on it on the podcast where I kind of shared my overall review of it. And I still stand by what I had to say about it, about how it feels kind of like a house with paper-thin walls where the lore is just holding up as much as it needs to hold up and not much more. Gears of War 3 is a more airtight game in that regard, but I think that the gameplay of 2 actually shines more. So I think I might actually rank them 2, then 3, and then 1. But there are more Gears of War games for me to play. My plan right now is I do want to play Judgment before I go on my super secret vacation at the end of March. And then when I come back from my vacation, I will eventually jump into 4 and 5. Will there be people available on Wednesdays and Thursdays to play 4 and 5 together with me cooperatively?
Not Chad. He won't do it.
Who's
Not
to
this
say?
guy.
Who's to say? But before I get to any of those, I am going to be checking out. So in order to play Lost Records Bloom and Rage rather than purchase it outright, I was like, you know what? Let me sign up for a month of PlayStation Plus Extra, because that would cost me $20, whereas Lost Records Bloom and Rage would have cost me $50 by itself.
Wait, can you do that now? Can you just do 1 month of extra at a time?
Well, if it is expired, or if he goes month to month, he can.
I have to manually go in and unsubscribe from my subscription, but yeah, I can do that. And so I was like, well, are there any other games within the extra collection that I should get around to? And I'm like, you know what? End of March, I'm going on a little trip to Japan. That's a super secret trip I was alluding to earlier. And you know, it's a first-party PlayStation game that I've not yet played that is available in the PlayStation Plus Extra collection. It is Ghosts of Tsushima, which of course will be getting a sequel later this year. And so I figured, you know what? Let's check that out next. So I will be reporting back in due time with my thoughts and impressions of this game. I am excited to check this one out. This is a game that completely flew by me under the radar when it came out back in 2020. And I am excited to see how it fares, because I enjoyed the infamous games from Sucker Punch back in the day. And I have faith that their action game chops are just as how I'm trying to look for like a good like samurai, like Japanese swordsman pun here, just as sharp as they were then as they are now.
Ooh, very good. I will say, Kozi, just a little point of some helpful hints here.
Uh-huh.
You're going to start this game, and it's going to be like, it's an open world game. Here's a big area. I would say try to put that off and try to go through the story for a bit. Because if you get stuck in that bottom half of the open world, you're going to be spending a lot of time doing the same thing over and over again, and that game gets boring real quick. Because the game is good. I like the game. I wish it was better paced at telling you to actually let's do the story for a little bit, then enjoy the open world. Because if you explore it the minute you can, you're going to waste 15, 20 hours, and you're going to get real bored real quick, and you won't have half the abilities that you have if you would have just done 3 story missions. So just heads up there.
All right, I will keep it in mind. And that is that.
All right, anything, Joel? Anything, or do we move on to our
No,
next
you
thing?
can move on. I've just been playing more Avowed. I played like 6 hours straight on Saturday morning because I woke up at like 6 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep. So I just started playing Avowed a bunch, man. I'm loving it. I'm in the second zone. I think I'm at the end of that area now. So excited to keep playing. Also, Kai's a freak. Kai's a freak, man.
He is a little freak. I saw that clip you had earlier. So the idea, so there's this, I mean, everyone check out Joel's social media. There's this girl who's like, I need a ladder to reach a thing or whatever, because she's real small. She's like a 3-foot creature or whatever. And then, you know, you help her get the thing on top of the thing. She's like, oh, thanks so much. And Kai's like, hey, if you need a few extra inches, I got a couple to give you.
But-
and then just like turns around and walks
but
away.
he
You're
says
like,
that after she leaves. Like he says that like he's
yeah.
buddy with you. Like, hey, Adam, if she needs a few extra inches, I got a few to give. Like, what the fuck, dude?
It's like, wow. Guy, a little freak, nasty. But it's Garrus, so I can't be mad at him. Moving on to Chad, it's time.
Segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam. That's the Rugrats theme. Don't put that game in your NES, it'll break it apparently.
Yeah, it'll break your NES. So, what I've decided to do, Chad talked earlier about watching movies and TV. And that got me thinking, just when he said it, I didn't prepare this beforehand. What is a fun game that Adam likes to run that has to do with movies and TV? That's right, it's 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is being John Malkovich.
I was thinking 6 Degrees of John Hamm, but it was the wrong pig product.
Yeah, wrong pork thing. This week's segment, the show just ended. It was on Disney Plus. It was a good time. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is the basis for how we're doing that. Very excellent show. Oh man, I was not expecting that. It was really good. So the way that this game works is 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where this actor is in this thing, who's attached to that person, who's married to that director, who This person is in the video game. Name the video game. If you guys, everyone gets 2 guesses. If you get on the first guess, you get 3 points. If I have to give you a clue, you go down in points from there. I have up to 3 clues. The clues are the same for every question. So let's start from here. All right. Hudson Thames plays Peter Parker / Spider-Man, in case you didn't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. A 50-year-old freshman who gains spider-like abilities after being bitten by a spider. Thames plays all the Spider-Men in Marvel animation, you know, What If and all that stuff. But his guest role in I Think You Should Leave is where I'm going to head to first. That show, who's in that show, Chad? Who's the main guy?
Tim Robinson.
What's his fuck?
Tim Robinson,
yes.
55 Pies, 55. Yeah, that guy. He's the next connection on this little clue here. Tim Robinson has 6 credited film roles. The funniest one to me is he is credited as, quote, this is exactly what it says on his IMDb, quote unquote, Ugly Sonic in the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie. If you haven't watched the movie's very good, but he plays, quote unquote, Ugly Sonic. Andy Samberg voices Dale in that movie. What one gaming credit does Andy Samberg have?
Oh, shit.
So if you can get it without anything, you'll get 4 points. If you need clues, they'll go down. But if you can give me a guess off the top, Andy Samberg,
Give you a guess.
one
Is this
gaming credit.
Just for Chad, or am I allowed to?
For both of you
chime
guys.
in?
Whoever wants
Okay.
to give me an answer. You get 2 guesses.
Hmm.
You don't follow Andy Samberg to just know what he has?
I'm trying to think if he's voiced anything in a licensed thing I can think of.
If you need a clue, I can give you guys a clue. It's pretty hard on the first one.
I want to
do.
use all my guesses.
Then you give me a guess. Can't take all day.
I'll just go like friends of, like if maybe he's a Dan Harmon friend or Justin Roiland friend. Trover Saves the Universe.
No, he's not in Trover.
Okay.
Is he the guy that wears a wolf mask in Deathloop?
He's not in Deathloop. You can just tell me you don't have to tell me the character. You can just tell me the game.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, he's not in Deathloop. One more guess, unless you guys want a clue.
Yeah, give me a clue.
Is he a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 the remake?
No, he is not in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the remake. First clue. The first clue will be genre.
Okay.
And the genre will be first-person shooter.
Okay.
Elements of action role-playing.
Okay.
That is specifically, from the Wikipedia. So it is a first-person shooter, elements of action role-playing. Andy Samberg.
I mean, you kind of have RPG elements in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the remake.
Well, I would have told you if that was the correct answer. Yeah.
So I feel like we need a reevaluation there. How about, Chad, what's the name of that one Magic first-person game where like you're like a magic guy and it was made by like a bunch of former devs from that one studio? You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
It was
I know what you're talking about.
When Adam did his like 4 barf game choices for October last year, it was like one of the choices that didn't get chosen. I know this is very helpful, but you know what I'm talking about.
Nope.
Game with the magic guy.
Game with the magic guy. And the thing.
I know what game you're talking about. Do you want to use that as your guess?
Yes.
I believe you're thinking of Eternals of Avum or something like that. That is not correct. Good guess.
Damn.
Good poll. First-person shooter, action role-playing elements. Anything, Chad? Anything, Kozi? You got one more guess?
Deus Ex.
No, not Deus Ex.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus.
No, there was no shit, Kozi. There was someone I was going to put in this who's connected to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man who was in that video game, but I did not pick it.
Wow.
So that's 2 for Kozi. Chad, you got one more. Just give me a first-person shooter with action role-playing elements.
I'm going to say... I don't know. BioShock Infinite.
Good guess, but no. So the next clue, the second clue, is going to be year/generation it came out. This game came out in 2022. So PS4, PS5, that teetered on that area. But it is a 2022 game that came out for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Andy Samberg, first-person shooter, action role-playing, PS4, PS5 generation, 2022.
I think I know the answer, and I think I've known it since the first beginning.
Do you want to get?
No,
you're allowed to guess, Joel.
They're
You could
already
be in the
playing.
game.
They're already playing. It's what I would have guessed at the beginning, but I'll let them play.
Okay.
It's killing
give
me
you a
not
big
to just
tip of
yell
the
out
hat.
what I think it is. I think it's pretty obvious
It's
if
not-
this is what it is, what I'm thinking, but I don't know.
Andy Samberg.
Unfortunately, it's not High on Life because High on Life came out after 2022.
It's not High on Life. I mean, that's not a guess. You were just talking out loud, but I'm just letting you know now. It's not High on Life. Any other guesses? Or do you guys
What
need
the
a final
fuck came
clue?
out in 2022?
Plenty of video games.
I am seriously, I can remember 2020 better than 2022, and 2020 was the beginning of the mind wipe pandemic. So
I will say, just not necessarily a clue, but just to let you like none of these are like weird deep cuts. Okay, not saying that they're like all the number 1 selling game of the year, but you have all heard of every one of these games that are going to be the clues. Just a big heads up.
100%. I think I 100% know what game it is now.
Yeah, I'm not pulling out a buckshot roulette that you guys didn't hear of until I told you about it, 30 minutes before. So, you guys need to give me guesses, or do you want me to give you the final clue? For 1 point.
Oh, clue me, daddy.
Kozi, are you willing to pass, or you want to give me another guess?
Yeah, you can pass.
Okay, so the last clue is developer/publisher. Published by 2K, developed by Gearbox Software.
Borderlands 3? No, that's
Nope, not Borderlands 3.
Oh,
Tiny Tina Wonderlands.
Good job, Chad. You get yourself 1 point.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg is in
Yeah.
Tiny Tina Wonderlands.
I was about to say Saints Row, but that's
Yeah,
not it.
that's not it. So you knew that, Joel, from
Yeah.
the beginning?
Yeah.
Did you play? I haven't played the game. Is he prominent in the
I
game?
don't remember. So
Andy
I did
Samberg?
play the game. I don't remember much about it, but I do remember him being in the game, being something somebody was telling me about. And then I was like, oh, yeah, that's definitely
Wait,
him.
who is he again in that game?
It's Captain
Yeah,
something. I don't
it's
remember.
like
I
a
looked it up
character
earlier.
that you get quests from at some point in the game.
Oh,
Very cool. All right, Chad, you have 1 point. Put it down somewhere. We're going to move on to our
I
second
will
clue.
say
Oh, go ahead.
that was a good. I appreciated that round. That was a fun round. I will say, you said that like these are all games that we're all familiar with. There's nothing that's like a super deep cut. I feel like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is like right on the edge of becoming a game that doesn't exist. Like it exists. I will firmly agree with the fact that it is a game that exists and that we know of, but it is like right on the edge.
I mean, it is a game that Chad has played, and you have heard of Borderlands.
Yes.
that is true.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by that. Anyways, next up, moving on to Coleman Domingo plays Norman Osborn. the CEO of Oscorp, Harry Osborn's father, and Peter's mentor. Coleman has more superhero work. By the way, Coleman Domingo's a fantastic actor. He's great. But he has more superhero work, portraying Batman in Batman Unburied, a scripted audio drama. Someone else in that audio drama, Chad's favorite brother, Travis McElroy.
No, Travis is not my favorite. Justin's my favorite.
He's a brother you know one of the brothers. And one of Travis's biggest cinema roles that he's all, because Travis McElroy has been in movies and such, his biggest role of all time was in 2020's Trolls World Tour. I was just saying, it was a big movie. There, he featured alongside podcast guest and friend Ron Funches. Ron Funches has also been in superhero stuff. He's the voice of King Shark in the Harley Quinn animated series. Actress Lake Bell is Poison Ivy on that same TV show. Give me Lake Bell's one gaming credit.
Am I allowed to look up a picture of Lake Bell? Or Joel, can you show us a picture of Lake Bell?
Yeah, Joel, show us a picture. Show us a picture of Poison Ivy from Harley Quinn.
Type into Google Lake Bell video game credits.
All I can think of is Drake Bell, but girl.
Sorry, I'm talking and my mic's muted. So I can only share this YouTube tab with you, because if I stop sharing, Chad will get messed up.
Got it.
So I don't know which one she is.
She's the brown-haired one in that clip right there. Lake Bell, voice of Poison Ivy.
Gaming credit. Okay.
Can you give me your gaming credit?
Is she Poison Ivy in Lego DC Supervillains?
She is not Poison Ivy in any video game.
Okay.
Just a heads up.
There we go.
Is she Harley Quinn in Lego DC Supervillains?
That would make no sense because Kaylee Kuko is her, but no, that is not it.
Anyways.
It is not. That is not it. Any other guesses before I give you clues?
Is
she in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League?
No, she is not.
Okay.
I'm just throwing paint on a wall. Is she in Alan Wake 2?
No, she's not in Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
First clue is the genre. The genre of the video game, per the Wikipedia page, is action-adventure. Action-adventure. I know it's not a huge help, but that's the first clue.
Is she in Gods and Monsters, the Zelda-like Ubisoft game?
Well, that's not the name of the video game, but no, she is not in Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Oh, no, wait. That's because that was the original name before they changed it to Immortals. Yeah. Gods and Monsters much better.
Yeah, much better. But no, she's
she
not
in Forspoken.
She's not in Forspoken.
Okay.
Action adventure, Lake Bell.
Is she in Kena Bridge of Spirits?
No, she is not.
Okay.
Is she in the English dub of Ghost of Tsushima?
No, she is not. Our next set of clues, the game came out, what is it? Second set of clues is year/generation. Yeah, so the game came out in 2000, initially came out in 2009 for PS3 and Xbox 360, did get a re-release in 2015.
SpongeBob SquarePants Bikini Bottom.
Let me finish.
Rehydrated.
Incorrect. It got a re-release in 2015 for PS4 and Xbox One. So if you would let me finish, you would have known that was incorrect. But yeah, 2009 initially, and then it got re-released on the 4 and the Xbox One.
What year did it get re-released?
2015.
Okay.
2009 originally, 2015 re-release. Action adventure, Lake Bell.
For the record, I do
Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn.
I do like that I'm playing just like B-roll that only you guys can see, because I'm hoping it's sparking ideas for them, because I could tell they have no fucking clue what this is.
Yeah, right. This one's a little tougher than the first one, I think. But another game that has been mentioned on the podcast at a certain point in the history.
We talked earlier about how like 2022 is just like a black hole from a memory of what came out that year. 2015 especially is like, I can't
Well,
tell
I would say
you.
2009 would probably be the more recognizable date.
Right.
Action adventure, right?
Yep.
Adam,
Uncharted 2.
I just looked up the answer, and I think this is even further stretch than Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
This has been mentioned on the podcast at the point. I do think this is I think this is the hardest one, but it has been mentioned on the podcast.
I think Kozi is going to just leave the call. when you tell him what this game is.
Well, if he does, he does. Chad will win automatically. Whatever your guess. Did you give me a guess? It was wrong.
I said Uncharted 2, but
No,
yeah.
it's not Uncharted 2. 2009 action adventure.
Infamous 1.
No.
Okay.
Was
Do
that
I
2 from
still-
each? I think you've got one more,
I don't
Kozi.
know. Okay. Let's see. 2009. Maybe I need to lean more into like the
Because it was
360
released on
side of things.
PS3 and 360, just a heads
Okay,
up.
so it's
it
a
would not.
multi-platform game.
Yeah, it would not be.
Okay.
an
I
exclusive.
forgot about that part. Oh man. Oh no, wait. It doesn't come out in 2009. I'm gonna say it anyways. Dante's Inferno.
No, good guess, but not Dante's
Okay.
Inferno.
I'm trying
Your
to
last-
again. I'm going for those like fringe games where like again
No,
they're
no.
teetering on the edge of existing.
You're on the right track for sure. Very much on the right track. The developer / publisher. It was published by Activision, developed by Radical Entertainment.
Okay. There is this sounds like a game I probably researched at some point for some video or some segment or something on this channel, and I've just completely forgotten about it because this sounds very familiar.
Spyro.
No.
No. The problem is nowadays Activision only makes Call of Duty, and so I have to really reach into the recesses of my memory banks to be like, oh yeah, what other games did Activision make back when Activision used to make
published, not developed.
other games? Is it Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and Wikipedia is just bad at labeling the genre?
No, it is not. It is not. Both have one more guess. Like Joel said, it is a tougher one, but Kozi, you've been pretty close to it, and this has been brought up on the podcast. It's tough, though. It's tough. I'll give it to you. One more guess, Kozi. If you get this, you can tie up Chad. Because I think the next one you guys will probably get a little bit quicker. So you're going to need these points.
Right now, Joel is looking up like Wii
I know,
U
right?
Activision videos. I remember when Activision was like, yeah, we're going all in on the Wii U. People can't see this at home.
They
I just
can't
find
see it.
Very funny.
I literally typed in Activision Games 2009, and I still can't find this game. I'm trying to be as vague with my search as possible to try
That's so
and
funny.
get them to see what it is. But
All right. Any guesses?
No, I need another clue.
That's the last clue, bud.
Oh, that's the last clue? Oh,
here's an Activision trailer from E3 2009. I have no idea if it'll be in here or not.
It's just showing rock band
Band
shit.
Hero. This is Band Hero.
It's not rock band. Oh, Band Hero, excuse me.
Oh man. I'm just going to. Nah, I got nothing.
Okay. The game that Coleman Domingo is tangentially attached to is Prototype.
Oh,
Lake Bells and Prototype. She is the
that
sister
got a
in Prototype.
re-release?
Yep, in 2015.
Oh.
Huh.
A game that has been mentioned on the podcast before. Again, that was a tougher one.
It has.
That's fine.
It has.
Chad is 1-0, so anyone's game still. We're going on to our last one. And again, everyone, check out Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man if you haven't watched it. Eugene Bird plays Lonnie Lincoln / Tombstone, Peter's classmate who reluctantly joins the 110th Street Gang to protect his brother, leading him down a dark path. Eugene made an appearance in 2018's A Million Little Pieces, a movie written and directed by Sam Taylor Johnson, the wife of Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is also 20 years older than Aaron Taylor Johnson, so good on her. Fucking congratulations. Good shit. Aaron Taylor Johnson also stars in the movie A Million Little Pieces. Bet you didn't see that coming. I was doing my thing. Aaron Taylor Johnson also stars in a personal favorite movie of mine, Bullet Train, which you haven't watched. It's fucking really good. A movie that showcases Karen Fukuhara as the concession girl. Name her one gaming credit.
Oh, God. The concession girl.
From Bullet Train. Karen
From Bullet
Fukuhara.
Train. Oh,
Is she?
she's also in The Boys. She is
the
Yeah.
girl from The Boys, and she's also Katana in the 2016 Suicide Squad movie.
This is a wild stab in the dark, but I feel weirdly confident about this. Is she one of the female members of like the Galactic Police in Ratchet and Clank, the 2016 reboot/remake?
She is not in Ratchet and Clank.
Similarly, Guardians of the Galaxy?
She is not in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Both have
These
one
are
more
two-
free guess.
These are two good guesses. I like these guesses.
Adam doesn't.
No, they're not bad.
I just accidentally
I don't know why my
showed
brain's
the
just stuck
answer.
on the
And
Suicide
neither of them
Squad
saw
killed
it.
the Justice League.
And I'm glad you skipped over that. No, she's not in Suicide Squad. Cozy, you have
Okay.
one more free guess before I give you guys a clue.
Is she in Lego DC Superheroes?
No, she does not
Supervillains?
play Katana in Lego DC Superheroes. First clue is the genre. The genre of this video game is survival horror.
Oh.
Until Dawn.
Huh.
No, it is not Until Dawn.
That's a good
The Quarry.
guess.
Not the Quarry.
The Quarry.
Is she in... I know I'm painting with a broad stroke. Maybe this is an illegal move, but is she in any of the Dark Pictures anthology games?
I'll give it to you. She is not in Dark Pictures Anthology.
Okay.
There's one more guess for you, though, Cozy, before I give you guys the second clue. You
Is
can still
she-
win with the second clue, but...
In Silent Hill Remake. The remake that came out
No,
last year.
she's not in Silent Hill 2 Remake. All right. Now this, Cozy, you will need this to win. If we go all the way to the third one, you can only tie. Next up
go.
is year/generation. This game came out in 2022 for PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. So 2022 survival horror game starring Karen Fukuhara.
Is she
Phasmophobia?
in
Not Phasmophobia.
Resident Evil 3 Remake?
She's not in Resident Evil 3.
Resident Evil Village.
She is not in Village.
Putt.
I don't even know if Village came out in 2022, but
I don't know.
one more guess for Cozy, I believe. You need this to win. You can tell tie chat and not be completely disappointment, but
Is she in... Hold on. I think I got it. Maybe I don't. Is she in Dying Light 2?
she is not in Dying Light 2.
Ah.
Moving on to our last one, Cozy, you can still not be a complete loser. And this one, guys, finger on the trigger. This might give it away. It is published by Craft Dawn, developed by Striking Distance Studio.
I'm blanking on what I know those names, but now I'm blanking on why I know those names.
as well.
It's a game that Karen Fukuhara is in.
Fuck. Damn it. The Callisto Protocol.
Congratulations, Cozy. You're not a complete. Yes. Karen Fukuhara is in the Callisto Protocol. Here's a trailer where she is shown off in the video game. Yes. Congratulations.
There we go.
So look at that. If you guys watch Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, it's connected to all the video games you love and actors that these guys don't know anything about. That is my segment from Adam. Thank you very much.
And now it's time for Game on Games on the Game on Game Show. Play a game called Game on the Game Show on the Game Show. Game. Did y'all miss it?
For literal
Years.
years on the Respawning Fire podcast, I did a segment called TMI with NPD, where I went year through year from 1995 to 2024 and asked you guys to guess the top 10 best-selling games of each year. In some cases, top 15 or even top 20, depending on how spicy I was feeling. Now that segment is over, or rather in hibernation until we get to the end of 2025, I'm starting up a new segment, a spiritual successor to TMI with NPD called, drumroll please, Console Honor Roll, in which I am going to be asking you to guess the top 10 best-selling games on each video game console that I was able to find sales data for. So not literally every single console of all time. We're
Wonder
probably not going to
Swan,
be doing,
baby.
probably not the Wonder Swan, probably not the Gizmondo, probably not any of those weird offshoot ones, but all the main portable and handheld consoles will be featured on this segment over the years and months to follow. And we are going to be starting today with the top 10 best-selling games on the Atari 2600.
Oh my God. I wasn't even alive.
Now, couple notes on this one. The NPD group / Circana only began tracking video game sales in 1995. Prior to that, accurate video game sales data is a little bit difficult to find. The reason why I wanted to start with the Atari 2600 is, of all the old ass video game consoles, it was like the oldest one that had a lot of sales data associated with its best-selling games. But even here, things were a little bit tricky because I basically found 4 different lists online that listed the top 10 best-selling games on the console. And with the exception of the single number 1 best-selling game, they were all very different.
That's fucking funny.
And so I made the decision to go with the top 10 list that was on Wikipedia, because the Wikipedia version of the list kind of collated a couple of the other sources together. And so I suspect that of all the lists that are online, the Wikipedia one unexpectedly might actually be the most accurate. Even if it's not the most accurate, I would suspect that if we were to somehow get a list that is 1,000% accurate and compare it to the Wikipedia list, it would probably be more or less the same thing, just with a couple of games in slightly different orders. Maybe the 10th best selling game would be replaced with another game that's not on the list. Otherwise, keep in mind that this list is not 1,000% accurate, but it is still fairly accurate.
I don't think Atari's around to come at us and matter. It doesn't.
No,
they don't exist.
Big Atari isn't about to beat us over the head for our
vaporware
inaccuracy.
hardware.
Yeah, owned by a French company since the late 90s, I think. Anyways, so we're all familiar with the rules of TMI with NPD. For console honor roll, I'm switching things up just a little bit. I will be reading off 4 clues per game on each game on the list, and everybody will have 2 guesses overall per game. However, keeping in line with Adam's Kevin Bacon game, I will also now be implementing a system where the fewer cues that have been revealed, the more points that you can potentially receive. So if I have revealed no clues, if I just say the number 10 game and you blurt out the correct answer, you get 5 points.
NBA 2K27.
1 clue, you get 4 points. 2 clues, you get 3 points. 3 clues, you get 2 points. If I say all 4 clues, you only get 1 point. So those will give you opportunities, Chad, to potentially snap up
anything
some
to help
correct
Chad.
answers.
Oh, I'll be
if you
good
can get
until
them.
PS2 comes around, and then that's when I'll start bombing.
In addition, during the TMI with NPD games, I had the Chad lock, where Chad could lock in on a game early on and give 1 potential guess of what he thought that game was before opening it up to Adam as well. Because it's the fresh start of a brand new segment, I'm going to allow both Chad and Adam to lock in once per game.
Ooh.
If Adam is a little bit too dominant, I will eventually just relinquish it solely to Chad. But for now, both Chad and Adam can use it. And with that,
Sounds
are we
good.
ready to start?
No
Yeah.
consideration as to whether I'm too dominant, huh?
Well,
It hasn't
we'll
happened yet.
find out about that. It's a brand new game. It's a brand new world, brand new possibilities. I'm trying to remember the Pokemon Johto song, Chad, because you can potentially make a brand new mark for yourself with this. Are you
Gonna
ready?
be the very best. Beat
I was gonna say,
the
is there a
other
different song for
guy.
Johto?
Yeah, Pokemon Johto. I don't remember it well, but it goes something like that. All right, number 10. The 10th best-selling game on the Atari 2600 per the NPD group / Circana, technically not though, because they weren't around at this point, was created by programmer Rob Fulop in 1982.
Adventure.
It is not Adventure. That is a game that was on the Atari 2600.
Missile Command.
So, Missile Command, not the game either. You both only have 1 guess left, and remember that unlike the Kevin
For the
Bacon
whole
game,
thing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Probably shouldn't
you'll
have
have
said
to, you might want to listen to a few more clues. Clue number 2. This game is a fixed shooter game in the vein of Space Invaders, but it's not Space Invaders.
Galaxian.
It is not Galaxian, which means now
Fuck
only
my
Adam can answer for this one. Clue number 3. Its name is composed of 2 words. The first word is a type of malevolent supernatural entity. And clue number 4. The second word is a noun, which the Oxford Dictionary defines as an aggressive and violent action against a person or place. I'll read the clues one more time.
Is that the last clue?
Yeah. It was
God
created
fight.
by... Sorry, what?
Fight.
God fight.
God fight. Honestly, you're not that far off. The correct answer was Demon Attack.
Yeah, I would have never
Which-
got that shit.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
Joel, I appreciate you looking up Demon Attack, because I will say, while a primitive ass Atari 2600,
Oh, that's just fucking Space
Atari
Invaders.
2600 game,
This is Space
It is
Invaders,
Space
except
Invaders.
the alien is your ship.
but
And
the
you're fighting
aliens that you're
butterflies.
fighting like form together in midair. Like the pixels actually come like into place from the left and right sides of the screen when they teleport into place. It's actually like, again, Atari 2600 ass looking game, but pretty cool effect in that regard. Anyways, also look up the box art of this game at some point because the box art is pretty crazy as well. Are we ready for number 9?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
All right. The 9th best-selling game on the Atari 2600 is a port of a 1982 arcade game published by Midway. Clue number 2. It's a game that features collectible bananas. Clue number 3.
Adventure.
It is not adventure. Clue number 3. This game was heavily based off the design of another popular game that released 2 years prior.
Miss Pac-Man.
It is Ms. Pac-Man.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations, Adam.
How many
You can
points
give
was that?
yourself 2 points.
2. All right.
All right. And yeah, as you can see, Mrs. Pac-Man is currently playing on screen. The original Pac-Man on the Atari 2600 is widely regarded as being a pretty poor port of the original game, but Miss Pac-Man, in addition to the base version of Miss Pac-Man generally being considered a better game, this port of Miss Pac-Man is also generally considered pretty good as well. Again, albeit by the standards of the console. Number 8. Let's move on to number 8. The 8th best-selling game on the Atari 2600 was designed by Howard Scott Warshaw in 5 weeks.
What buildings did that guy make?
Who's to say? Clue number 2. Its gameplay involves falling into and rising out
Pitfall.
of pits. It is not Pitfall.
You did that on purpose.
E.T.
It is E.T.
There's
Congratulations.
no way that was the 8th. That
Wait, that
crashed
was
the
the
video game
best-selling one,
industry.
and they buried millions of copies of it?
That doesn't make any
E.T.,
sense.
the extraterrestrial for the Atari 2600, was a very hotly anticipated game in the lead up to its release. The movie, directed by Steven Spielberg, very, very popular. This game had a lot of hype going into it, which is why it's remembered as being such an infamous dud, because everyone bought it and everyone was like, this game sucks. So yeah, it is simultaneously both a very high-selling game on the Atari 2600 and a huge bomb.
I want to say, imagine fucking gathering the boys together, like, guys, we're going to GameStop. We're going to the midnight launch of E.T. and we're gonna go home. We're gonna play this shit all day, all night, and this is the game.
That's awful. How many points did I get for that awful game, Kozi?
You got 3.
Okay.
Congratulations. All right, number 7. The 7th best-selling game on the Atari 2600 per the NPD Group / Circana is a port of a 1981 arcade game developed by Williams Electronics. As you can see, there's a bit of a theme going on here with these Atari 2600 games. A lot of ports of arcade games.
The
People are
arcade
like,
at home, kids. Get your parents'
Exactly.
money. Take it out of the purse. Go buy a video game.
It was an opportunity to play the arcade games in front of your own home TV console, but oftentimes those ports weren't so great. Clue number 2. It's a game in which you shoot aliens, like Space Invaders, but it's not Space Invaders.
Galaxian.
It is not Galaxian.
But.
Clue number 3. The name of this game is a single word that ends in er. So something er. Something er. And it shares the same namesake. This is clue number 4. As a lesser known team from the Marvel Universe. Albeit if the name of that team was singular.
Defender?
It is Defender, correct. You can give yourself 1 point for that one.
Oh, yeah. Heard about this game. Never played it because it's too old.
Yeah. Back in the good old day where you could just call your game Defender, Adventure.
I mean, they call the
something
game Adventure, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I played a version of this on my TI-89 graphing calculator.
For sure.
Wow. Amazing. Number 6, the 6th best-selling game on the Atari 2600 per the NPD Group / Circana, if they existed back in the day, is a port of a 1979 arcade game created by designers Lyle Rains and Ed Logg with 2 Gs.
Oh, the second G. That's the one that did it. I got it. Yeah. Nope.
Clue number 2. It's a game in which you control a spaceship like Space Invaders or Galaxian, but it's not Space Invaders or Galaxian.
Did they just make Space Invaders like games this entire generation? As it sounds like
They kept going to space for some reason. Clue number 3. Flying saucers occasionally appear in this game and shoot at your spaceship, but they're not the focus of the game.
Asteroid.
It is asteroids. Congratulations.
Ooh, what number? How many?
Give yourself 2 points.
Hell yeah, baby.
Chad, how many points are you sitting there right now?
I'm just going to start shouting nouns.
All right. Well, we'll see how well that will seat you at number 5. The 5th best-selling game on the Atari 2600 is a port of a 1981 arcade game developed by Konami. And I will say, this is a game I don't often think of as a Konami game, but they did technically invent it. Clue number 2. In 1982, computer gaming magazine Softline stated that this game has the distinction of being, quote, the arcade game with the most ways to die.
Pitfall?
It is not Pitfall.
But
Oh, Adam Locke. I just so cozy. I don't need another clue yet. I know the game. I just have to think of it. Oh my god, what is this thing called? Shit. I know the game. It's basically like choose your own adventure, go this way or that way. FMV game. But what? Dragon's Lair?
It is not Dragon's Lair,
Okay.
unfortunately. Clue number 3. Snakes, otters, and alligators are all enemies in this game. And clue number 4. It's the only game on this list in which you play as an animal. I'll go ahead. I will read the clues once again. It is a port of a 1981 arcade game developed by Konami. In 1982, computer magazine Softline stated that this game...
Frogger.
It is Frogger.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, okay.
Give yourself a point for Frogger, Chad.
You know what I'm thinking of though, Cozy? Is that game I'm thinking of called Dragon's Lair? Where like you're the
It
dude
is,
in the
and that was that was a standout example of, back in the day in arcades, Dragon's Lair looked way better than any other arcade game at the time because it used pre-render video and so on and so forth.
What is this knockoff Crossy Road?
Yeah, I was going to say, Crossroad totally just time traveled and stole this game's idea. I don't know why they would do that. All right, and let's move on to number 4. The 4th best-selling game on the Atari 2600 per the NPD Group / Circana is a game that has an exclamation point in its name.
Adventure.
Oh, shit.
It is not Adventure.
Okay.
Chad,
Pitfall.
It is Pitfall.
Fuck yeah.
I
Was
will
that
give
4?
you 4 points for that, Chad.
Give yourself 5, Chad.
Congratulations.
Good shit.
Foe, baby. Wait a
Is
minute.
the
What's
chat
that asterisk
comeback
there? What's that
happening?
asterisk there?
Is it happening?
Who put an
We'll find
asterisk
out.
on my score? No, we're taking that out.
Good old Pitfall. The
Wait, what was the
precursor
clue?
to
Oh,
it
exclamation
was
point.
a game with an exclamation point in its name. And here we go. Let's move on to number 3. The 3rd best-selling game on the Atari 2600 per the NPD Group / Circana, if NPD Group / Circana existed in the year 1981, is a port of a 1981 arcade game co-designed by a Japanese designer named Gunpei Yokoi. Clue number 2. This game is named after its antagonist.
Snake. Or centipede. No,
Ooh,
the one where you eat your butt and you die.
I like centipede. I will
think they're the
accept
same.
centipede as your guess, but it is incorrect.
Fuck.
Clue number 3. This game takes place in a construction site in a bustling metropolis.
Donkey Kong?
It is Donkey Kong. Give
It
yourself
came to Atari? I thought that was a
Yeah.
Nintendo thing.
Donkey Kong and a bunch of other early Nintendo games all came to Atari and some of the other consoles of the time. As you can see,
Oh, this is bad.
they replaced Donkey Kong
Oh
with
my
just
god.
a man made out of chocolate.
It's like a
in this particular
gingerbread
game.
man.
Gingerbread man. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
that
not
looks
very
horrific.
good, but if you were a big fan of Donkey Kong at the arcades back in the day, I mean, this was the shit. You came home with the boys, you cracked open a cold one, and you played a little bit of Donkey Kong on the Atari 2600.
After you beat E.T.
Of course, had to beat ET first. Let's move on to number 2. Chad, you've caught up quite a bit.
Pac-Man.
You've caught up quite a bit. It's not quite. I will unfortunately not accept Pac-Man as an answer because that is not the correct answer.
Okay.
I will go
Wait,
ahead.
when you say don't accept answer, does that mean it also doesn't count as one of my answers?
No, I
Okay.
only mean that it is incorrect. That is all that I mean
Fuck.
by that. Number 2, the second best-selling game on the Atari 2600, per the NPD Group / Circana, if they existed back in 1978, is a port of a 1978 arcade game developed by Taito.
Taito Wakito Tiki.
Clue number 2. This port is generally regarded as being the first killer app on a video game console.
Pong.
That is incorrect. Good guess, but incorrect.
Chadlock.
Do you want to guess now, or do you want me to?
No,
keep
I
going?
want you to keep going.
All right, clue number 3. It features multiple defensive bunkers that protect you from enemy fire.
Oh, shit. I can't remember if this has been one already. Have we said, is this Asteroids?
Is that your guess?
Asteroids.
It is not Asteroids.
Missile Command.
I'm
Fuck
afraid.
my fucking ass.
It is not Missile Command.
Well,
Oh,
shit. Fuck
shit.
myself. I thought it was Missile Command.
Do you still have one more guess left, Adam?
No,
or-
I used
No,
mine
we're
too.
both out.
Mhm. Yeah, we're both
clue
out.
number 4 would have been, I've already referenced this particular title multiple times so far during this segment. It is Space Invaders.
Oh, it is Space Invaders.
Oh, shit. Duh.
And finally,
Pac-Man.
number 1. Who said that?
Chad did.
Chad did.
Chad?
Is it right?
Give yourself 5 points because Pac-Man is the number 1 best-selling game on the Atari 2600. Like E.T., Pac-Man was an infamously bad game for the Atari 2600. It took the lovely gameplay of the arcade classic and boiled it down to this really bad port in which all the ghosts are flickering and Pac-Man is eating those like.
This looks absolutely
bland-ass
awful.
wafers.
This is
Yeah.
trash.
But much like E.T., it was a game that was very heavily anticipated. It came out at like the height of Pac-Man fever when everyone loved Pac-Man. And so people bought the game in droves. But unfortunately, critical impressions of the game were very poor. And again, kind of worthwhile to kind of understand in terms of understanding this game's placement within the history of the Atari 2600. Even though the game sold very well, even though it ended up being the number 1 best-selling Atari 2600 game, the sales expectations of what they wanted out of the game were like double that. Like the game sold like
It was a Square Enix
7
title.
million. Exactly. The game
It
sold
sells
like
well, but it
7
never
million
meets
titles,
expectations.
but like they wanted it to sell like 12 million, which is why they ended up burying all those copies in New Mexico back in the day.
Did we ever have Asteroids on there? I feel like that's like one of the 3 Atari
Yeah, I
games that
guessed
I ever hear
Asteroids.
about.
Yes.
Oh, you did? Oh, shit.
Asteroids was number 6. Just a couple of other highlights from the list. At number 13, Chad, you valiantly guessed it earlier, is Centipede.
Oh, okay.
At
Okay.
number 16, Adventure, another game that you were gunning for a lot throughout this list. In some lists, Adventure is a little bit higher, but I don't know if it ever cracked the top 10. And at number 24, just wanted to call this one out, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, is Galaxian a real game, or is that just like the calculator version that I played of Galaga?
No, it's a real game. It's a space game. It's one of the
Hey, Kozi,
space
where's
Google
Missile Command on that
Galaxian.
list?
Where is Missile Command?
The only reason I know that is because I went to one person's house one time. They had Atari, and they had Missile Command. I'm like, I guess this is the game that people play on Ataris. And then I never looked into it after that because I didn't care.
Is it Missile Command is not on the Wikipedia list?
Ooh,
that seems
rough.
surprising.
Oh, where's
stuff.
Galaxian on that list? Is Galaxian on that list?
Probably
I
not.
actually
Jeff.
don't know if there was I don't think there was a port of Galaxian for the Atari 2600. Maybe there was, but it's not on the list. Some of the other highlights you have include Night Driver at number 11, Laser Blast. It's just a game called Laser Blast at number 17.
They had a game called Devil Attack, so I don't put anything past them.
I was gonna start guessing things like baseball because I know that was a game.
No, it's not a very sports centric list. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of sports games. Lots of adventure games. Lots of games about going and fighting bugs and shooting aliens and bugs in space, but no sports games to be seen. And that is the end of Console Honor Roll for the Atari 2600. Join us next time for Console Honor Roll for the Nintendo Entertainment System, where it all began.
Whoa. Thanks, Kozi. That's it for Game on Game Show. That is it for this episode of Respawn Aim Fire, episode 385. You got homework. Your homework's to play Portal 2. Why the fuck are we playing Portal 2? Because you love your spouse, you love your significant other, you love your dog, and you want to go play a game together. And so you're going to just cuddle up on the couch and be like, go in my hole, and I'll go in your hole, and we'll solve the puzzle. And that's how babies are born. Oh my God, fun story. I was watching Mrs. Doubtfire at my best friend's place. It was me, him, and his son, who's he's turning 6, I think, in September. Out of nowhere, his son just goes, "Dad, when a mommy has a baby in her, how does it get there?" And Kanan and I just look at each other like, where the fuck did that come from? And why are you asking right now? And what the hell do I say? Anyway.
Enjoy the comedic musings of Robin Williams, please, child.
Yes, right? You put the robot in the portal, in the hole, and out comes another robot. It's the same robot in a different hole. Play it. We're talking about it on Sunday. If you want to talk about it with us, let us know sooner than later. If you have thoughts on it, let us know whenever you want. We'll read them whenever. If you send this in 2016, fuck. That's wild. Tell me how you got there. If you send this in 2060, like I meant to say, great. We'll read it if we're not dead. In other words, just write us.
I'll be alive.
We're lonely and we want
I'll
letters.
be hanging out.
Just send us letters about Portal 2. If you are a patron at patreon.com/respawnaimfire, you get to vote this week on a barf game on either Adam's or my game. We have not talked about who picks this month. So one of us will have a poll up ASAP. You'll pick it. We'll announce it on the weekend on our barf episode. And then we're all going to play it for the month of March. So do that. And then also, if you are a patron, you still have exclusive access for the next few days to Rafter Dark, where we talk about movies. We talk about Kozi's dad. We talk about throwing Altoids in young boys' eyes. True story.
Oh, yeah.
It's all in there. It's all in there during the Return of the Jedi. Or no, The Last Jedi. That's what it was. Last Jedi. Yeah, we talk about all that on Rafter Dark. And if everyone else, you're not a patron, you get Kozi Bake a Cake. Kozi Bake a Rap Cake. Oh,
Go
fuck.
watch it.
Also, happy 8 years today, y'all. Respawn Aim Fire is 8 years old now.
Is it really?
Whew.
Yeah.
Did it?
Old enough to ask about where babies come from.
For whatever reason, in my mind, I thought that the podcast began in March because I know that like the launch of the Switch and Zelda was very closely associated with its early episodes. It began in
our
April.
first episode was the week that Horizon Zero Dawn came out, which is the week before the Switch launch. So the last week of February. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, folks, that's it.
Real quick. I just want to put this out there. 75% chance that you might get a solo live reaction stream of me live reacting to the Thursday Pokemon Direct. I will be the only person there because I'm the only person crazy enough to get up at 9 a.m. to watch Pokemon stuff. Apparently, Chad, the world's biggest Pokemon fan at the moment, doesn't want to get up at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to watch Pokemons in front of his face.
Nope.
So it's just going to be me. Possibly.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend. I mean,
that's
I
it.
do recommend you watch the live stream if it happens. I do not
Oh, yeah.
recommend waking up to be on a Pokemon live stream at 6 a.m. when it could just be about Pokemon sleep. Who knows? I mean, I know we're going to see Zaw. I know that's it. That's over. We're done.
I hope
Thank
they
you,
have
everyone,
a
for listening.
5-minute segment on Pokemon sleep. I hope it's
I hope they have a
all about
5-minute
Pokemon
segment
sleep.
called Pokemon What Happens When We Die.
Oh, man. Getting morbid.
And it's just ask your mommy what happens when we die. That's it, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, for watching, for sending us your letters about Portal 2. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. The male genitalia has a rush of blood and it becomes erect. And it goes into the lady's genitalia.
This is going in a weird direction.
And Joel, you can cut it at any time. Because I don't know what happens after that.
Once
it's
you
in
know
there,
that there's an
you just,
erection
camp
and a
out, eat some
vagina, but you
chips.
don't know anything else.
Yeah.